Morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. If you will, go ahead and like and share the post, and then grab your Bible and go back with me to the 104th Psalm, Psalm 104. We'll be picking up there this morning at the end of the second verse. We covered sort of the second verse yesterday, but there's one phrase at the end of the second verse that need us to pick up and kind of get a running start into this next section. Again, this is a beautiful psalm of praise. Believe the author to be David. I can again, my mind has David writing this as a young man while tending to his flock, sitting out on the hillside, looking and taking in all of God's creation, and writing these words, and then reflecting back on the first chapter of Genesis and the creation story. If you read those two parallel, you'll see a great correlation as this psalm just walks through the events of creation. Yesterday, we looked at the first few verses, which dealt really with the idea of the excuse me, of God and creating light and the glory, the authority, the power involved in that. Now we're going to pick up, again, we're going to end this last phrase in the second verse, and then kind of leads into then the next few verses. At the end of verse 2, that last section, it says, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain. And he is describing here, again, the creation story and how God stretched out. He says, basically putting the stars in the sky like we would stretch out a curtain. He just put it over the earth and surrounded it, and gave us the great beauty of our sky. In doing that, he goes on and says he lays the beam of his chambers in the waters. And so what he's speaking of there is when God divided the upper and lower water. In other words, as we know, there's water in the lakes and the oceans and the rivers. There's water in the atmosphere. God separated that and put them both in their place where they belong, fulfilling the vital function for you and I. That the water in the skies replenishes the earth, replenishes the water in the lakes, rivers, streams, etc. And then we know through evaporation, the whole cycle, and from that we get our drinking water, we get our ground nurtured for being able to grow. And so God did all that and spoke that into existence for our beauty, for us to be able to see, but also for the function that it provides in the whole cycle of evaporation and rain, and so he placed that there through the very just simply speaking that into existence. He put the waters in the atmosphere. He put the waters in their places on the earth. He laid the beam of the chambers of his waters. He makes the clouds his chariot. As he divided the waters on the earth from the waters in the sky, then he has his own abode, his place in the sky, and ultimately he says he walks upon the wings of the wind. And that phrase is one that I want to kind of drill down on just a minute, because as I think about that, I think about the great authority and power that statement speaks of, that he walks on the winds. I can picture again David sitting out on the hillside tending to his animals, and the breeze blowing through his hair, and he doesn't know where the wind's coming from. He doesn't know where it goes. One of the other images I have of that statement is if you've ever built a campfire or maybe lit a charcoal grill, something like that. I don't know about you, but it seems to me that no matter which way where I stand, the smoke blows in my face, and there isn't anything I can do about it. And when I think about that line that he walks on the wind, wind is something that you and we have absolutely no control over. Again, we can't explain where it came from. We don't know where it went. I can't tell you from one second to the next whether it will be blowing or from which direction it will be blowing. If you've ever stood outside on a windy day, sometimes it may be hitting you in the face. Next thing you know, it's blowing behind you, and then it's come. We don't know where it goes, and we have absolutely no control over it. The wind is something. Man is. We have developed a lot of things. Man as is a very intelligent creature who has developed all kinds of technologies and devices, but something as simple as the wind is beyond our control. Yet our God, He walks on it. And by that picture, that phrase simply means He's in control of it. He walks on it. Not only does He walk on the wind, but He goes on. He says He makes the angels, angel spirits, His ministers, a flaming fire. He controls the angels. The angels serve at His wish, at His desire. He goes on that He says He ministers. He makes them His ministers. They serve Him at His desire, at whatever bidding He has. The angels run to serve Him. That they were joyful. The Bible tells us at creation, they're joyful at seeing someone come to know Christ, and yet they are His servants. The angels themselves bow down and acknowledge His authority and His power. So David, again, don't know that David wrote the psalm. I'm going to say that again before it's over with, but believe David was the author of this psalm. And so, again, he says he controls the wind. He speaks, and the angels obey his word. He laid the foundations of the earth that it should not be removed forever. God hung the earth. Man's had a lot of theories over the years about Earth, flat Earth, all those things, but we know that the Earth is just hanging there in the atmosphere. It orbits the sun at a set distance, at a set speed. It rotates at a set speed. It tilts back and forth, summer and winter, at an established pace and distance, and all of that was established by God. I don't. We don't understand all that. What keeps the earth from spinning out into the universe? Again, I can't quote this exactly. It just came into my mind. I remember reading one time that if the earth was just a little closer to the sun or a little further from the sun, just a small amount. If we were a little further from the sun, we would, how much of the earth would be under ice and freezing conditions. If we were a little bit closer, how much hotter it would be, how much of the ice would melt, and how much of the earth would be under the water, how much of the earth would be uninhabitable. But God has placed the earth right where it needs to be, spinning, orbiting, tilting, just, and it obeys His command and does exactly as He pleases and cannot be moved. It says there's no one with that kind of authority. You covered the deep, covered it with the deep as with a garment, and the water stood above the mountain. At thy rebuke they fled, at the voice of thy thunder they hastened away. They go up by the mountains, they go down by the valleys, unto the place which thou hast founded for them. Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over, that they may not turn, that they turn not again to cover the earth. And so this is speaking of the waters. And I think I mentioned a while ago the wind and our really our inability to have any control or authority over the wind. Water, much the same way. Water, we may put dams around it. We may put dikes and levees. We can build berms and all kinds of things. But as we saw a few years ago, unfortunately, down in New Orleans when Katrina came in, they've got these pumps that run 24 hours a day. They've got miles and miles of levees and dams and all these things they've built to control the water. But when the water rises, man is powerless to do anything about it. Wind and water are two things that we have played with. We've built windmills and we've built dams and lakes, but when it comes to it, the water will come over the dam, the water will go around the dam, knock the dam down, and go where it pleases, go where it will. And man is powerless to do anything but stand and watch. But our God, He spoke, and He says the waters hastened to go to their place. He didn't need a dam. He didn't need a dike. He didn't need a levee. He spoke, and the waters went to where He commanded. Can I encourage you with this simple word today? Take the words of David or the unknown psalmist. Take his words and remember today that no matter what you face, no matter what you come against, you serve a God who speaks and the winds lay down, who speak and the waters go where He commands. He can certainly help you with whatever situation you find yourself in today. I hope that encourages you today. I hope that helps you get through whatever battles you face. We'll see you here tomorrow. Have a great day.